Man, what's really good, guys? It's your boy Hatter from the FFL. We got the one and only G-Dub, Dr. Heat in the building. And then we got my comedy duo, Mr. Fred Smoot in the house. What's going on, guys?
Hatter, I done called you hater many times. I want to apologize. You're not a
now
hater, you're a hatter. So I ain't gonna do that to you.
Now you can reply because you ain't replying to a hater no more, right?
Hey, listen, that's rule 101. Don't reply to haters. You can't do it on Twitter. You can't do it on Instagram. You can't do it on Facebook. Do not do that to yourself.
And you know, when I write his name, I got to put a silent sound to make sure I say hatter instead of hater.
Yes, you have to do it. Are they gonna read it like I did?
Yeah, I know.
Man, I was like, when my guys met me the first time, they pronounced my name. I was like, man, I felt like I was in elementary school. You know when the substitute teachers read the name call?
Yeah.
He's like, where's Hater at?
Yeah,
no doubt.
But Fred, what's going on with you, bro?
Hey, man, you know me, loving life, man. Hey, like I told people, I don't think I had a real job yet in my life. I got a chance to play a child's game most of my life, and now I got a chance to just sit back and talk about it and talk and make money. So I'm having fun with life, man. I'm enjoying it.
You're one of the best talkers. No, not one. You are the all-time #1 talker that I have ever had the luxury of coaching during stretch before we went on the thing. And anybody that crossed you during stretch got denutted before we ever got into practice.
You know what? Because I always tell them, man, when I watch Animal Planet and I watch those cheetahs, they don't stretch before they go hunt. You know what I'm saying? They just go hunt. And I knew this. Sometimes guys don't want to practice, and it could be long days. We could be in training camp. We could be anything. And I know if you just get them to talking, that's when they'll get to going, man. I know I could crank them up in that way, and all I had to do was poke at them. See, that's the easiest group to ever poke at is 52 alpha males. Because a lot of these guys gonna wear all their feelings on their sleeves, and it take a guy like me to get under get just a little bit.
And it was great, and you talked about being the cheetah every day in the stretch.
Because that's what it was. Because think about it, I wasn't gonna go in the weight room like that. But the one thing about it was I was gonna stay nimble, I was gonna stay flexible, but I was gonna stay available. And that was the key. I was going to stay available. I wasn't going to get hurt. And that's what I tried to tell my boy, man, with Forbes. And that's one guy I really do want you to conversate with and have a good conversation with him, Greg, because you have seen a 170-pound, 85-pound corner go out there and had to tackle Brandon Jacobs. And I found ways to get things done. I knew how to.
You did.
I knew when they was going to attack me. I knew how they was going to attack me. And I found different ways to get around it.
Where you were a great talker, you were a very, very, very good player too, and I loved it. And it was a great experience. And you know, I'm very proud of you then and now still.
Definitely. I mean, you were available. I'm telling you, you was putting up numbers. I mean, I was elementary school, man. I mean, second-gen fan. So I was watching my boy out there playing, putting those numbers up. And you definitely was available. But, hey, man, I got to talk about your twin, Mississippi, Mr. Forbes, man. What happened with his rookie year, man? What do you think that could have been wrong with him? Do you think it was the coaching? Do you think it was what was it? Was it the stomach bug? You know, what was it?
You know, the one thing about me, I'm gonna keep it real, man. We all know this because all of us got children, and we didn't see bad parents before. And if you got bad parents, I'll show you bad kids. All right. And the one thing about it was he wasn't being taught right. His DB coach was a high school coach the year before he coaching him, and he's supposed to tell him how to survive in the NFL. First of all, at the end of the day, it's no, all right, I can say this. This is how you tell me it's bad coaching. You could never find a defense, our defensive backfield, our group of linebackers that all of us stink. It won't be all of us. But if all of us having down years, it ain't because all of us stink. It's because it's bad coaching. All right, at the end of the day, either you're not doing what they do best or you're not teaching them how to do what you want to be done, and you're not teaching them the right way to get it done. Cam Carroll had a down year. St. Juice had a down year. Everybody, Deron Payne had a down year. John Allen had a down year. Like at the end of the day, a dead fish stink from the head down. All right, it ain't. time. It stank for the head down. It's always going to be a little bit of the Jimmy and Joes and some of the X's and O's. So the only thing I can say about this is I found him in situations that my guys, the guys I was taught from, would have never let happen. And it started at the beginning of the year, and it was that Philadelphia game. In that Philadelphia game, we watched him go against A.J. Brown. Now, the one thing we saw was from the beginning, it was an old school versus new school match that was one-sided. Me, myself, I'd be like, let me get him. All right, I'm going to go save him. Like, if me and Sean out there, Sean, in the matchup don't favor Sean, we're going to switch up. We know how to look after each other. I saw none of those guys, and he's the rookie. I saw none of those guys say step up and let me go get him. Let me stop the bleeding. Let me figure it out. And I had a situation like that, Coach. You remember with Johnny Eubanks in the Chicago Bear game, where we had a situation where I got hurt. I went to the locker room. I'm watching the game. They go right at him. I was like, sometimes it's just the presence. You ain't got to be, 100%. Just your presence changes the game plan.
Agreed. And then you had that one conversation with me going in at halftime. What game was that? About making sure I made some adjustments at halftime. And I looked at you and stared you in the eye, and we went out the second half and kicked the dog shit out of them.
And that's what it is. In this communication, me and London talk about it all the time. Because me and London always in the office, and we always talking about coaches. And Santana and Logan, they had a favorite with the Shanahans, and me and London have our favorite with G-Dub, because when you see all players starting to blossom in a certain way, that means all communication being done. And I done went to the huddle with London and the huddle, and this play was called, and we like, man, we can't run that. Run something else. But you understand that when we get back to the sideline, man, we had to switch it up. We felt like this was going on. That communication is everything in football, and I think that's one of the things that people don't talk about enough. Because if you ever looked at our DBs when they got beat, when you see your hands up like that, that means don't nobody know what's going on. And if you see that, that means we ain't talking either before the play or we ain't talking after the play. Either or gonna get you beat.
And you brought up London, and London used to, when we first went into the communication into the helmet, and I would communicate the call in, and he wouldn't like the call, so he'd act like he didn't hear it, and he could make his own damn call. and I watched him do that, and you know what? It brought a smile to my face, because it's important to involve the players inside the white lines. And that still makes my heart sing every time I think about him going, I can't hear you. Yes, you can. You don't like the call.
But let me ask you this too, G-Dub, because I always bring this out, and I've taken it upon myself, because the one thing about London, he is one of those guys. He wanted to bring that lunch pail. He don't like to brag about himself, but now he finds himself in a dilemma that speaking up for yourself is the only way you're gonna get it done with this Hall of Fame. Now I believe he should be in the Hall of Fame, so I have taken it upon myself to take over his Hall of Fame campaign and start to speak up for him. You have a very personal relationship with him, dating back to all the way back to Buffalo and beyond. If you had to make a Hall of Fame case for one London Fletcher, what would it be, Coach? And
I would do it, no doubt about it, because you're talking about a Super Bowl winning middle linebacker that has more tackles statistics 17 straight years and never missed a game in 17 straight years. Hey, there's no doubt about it, and I push as hard as I can right now on every voice that I can get to get him in the Hall of Fame.
And guys, I talked to Coach G-Dub, Coach, it was a thing like a year ago. And, when Dan was still there, he was about to be out. And Fred, I got to ask you, London has to be in the Hall of Fame. You compare his numbers next to freaking
Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis. Right.
No. But people say that Ray Lewis is the epitome of a middle linebacker. If you put in a blind contest, if you put the numbers beside themselves, London is beating him in a lot of categories, because he had
a lot of categories.
A lot of categories. Yes. He just ain't your sexy pick, because we won perennial playoff team. It was a time where Andy Reid in Philadelphia was going to the playoffs most of the time. So therefore, he always got the Pro Bowl snub or whatever. But we was top 5 defense every year. Every year.
And that's what I was asking. I was saying, is it because of this? The overall Dan Snyder thing, or we were we were never shown on social media ever since I don't know, since like 2004 and 5. Like people NFL never promoted us as a team. I mean, there'd be people doing dancing around the field, and they were like, "Oh, guys, look at this Cincinnati Bengal dancing around the field." Whenever we do something, they wasn't really promoting us. Do you think because of London Fletcher played with us? They're like, you know what? He played for this Redskins. We wait on him. We put him on later.
You know what? I hate to say it. You know the economy bad. If you do all that crying, what the baby gonna do? No, that ain't what it is. The thing about it is, it's certain people. Like if you go to a car lot and you got a car salesman there, the one that speaks up and try to get you inside out of these cars, the one that talk these cars up, the one that sells himself is the car salesman that you're going to buy your car from. Well, London is quiet. And it's one of these environments, especially with this digital time. I mean, this digital time that we in, this microwave society, especially in the Hall of Fame, you can quickly, like, I'm going to tell you where I was like, and listen, Pat Willis, I love him to death. Old Miss alum, great linebacker, played 9 years. I'm talking about it, and I respect everybody. I'm never going to put one up. Yes. But at the end of the day, the numbers don't lie. And if the numbers lying, what's going on? So now you telling me this is a popularity contest, and now you also telling me it's about who visual and who not. All right, because if I bring London name up to the average 17-year-old because he wasn't flashy or he didn't do this and do that, they wouldn't know who he is.
Right. No, he wasn't. And it is a popularity contest. Like last week, a show with 2 weeks ago with Andre Carter. I mean, the numbers he put up, and only 1 Pro Bowl. Now they just going by the names. Look at these Pro Bowls, man. Like you saw the Pro Bowl last week. Like what was that? You know, and it's crazy. And
they're going to announce tonight. You know, this year's Hall of Fame type people too, and all the MVPs and all that kind of stuff. They're going to announce tonight. Out at the Super Bowl. But here's the deal. I will tell London. In fact, I was texting with him earlier today. He's out there at the Super Bowl right now. Is that he needs to hire you to make sure that there's enough shit talking and enough talking to get him in. And I'll help you any way you need.
No, most definitely. I'm taking it. I told him already. I told him a couple months ago, I'm gonna get that done, man. Because sometimes other people need to see what needs to happen and make it happen. Don't talk about it, be about it. So you know what it is. It's just talking to the right people and making sure that his name stay in it. Because come on, I love Devin Hester, but B. Mitch did what Devin Hester did years ago, and B. Mitch is another guy.
Yep, definitely another guy.
And another guy that probably should have been in there. Joe Jacoby. We got so many dudes like that should pretty much be in there. That ain't getting they just do, but all in due time, I guess.
And I mean, Bree Mitch came to, me and him had lunch together about a couple months back, and we was talking about the same thing. I'm like, bro, man, he's the 2nd-time all yardage leader behind Jerry Rice. Like, come on now.
Hey, you ain't got to sell me the rainbow. I already eat Skittles. I know what it is. Like, I know the facts. But at the end of the day, like I said, once the names start to stack up, and they start to stack up, and I don't think it does us no help that they did it under the old moniker, and the old moniker don't exist no more. So now let's bury them even more to the back of the pack, if you know what I mean.
Now the thing is, Joe Whitt, the new defensive coordinator. Okay. Done everything changed now, right? But the thing is, me and Coach G-Dub, we've been seeing the movies for the Commanders for ever since he been there, and we just watch halftime. After that, we just go to sleep. And Fred, I know you be coming on the shows and the podcast with at the facility, but over here we got to keep it real. You know what I'm saying?
Don't act like we don't keep it real. Don't act like we Town in London and Logan don't keep it 100. We keep it 100 on our show too. Hey, listen, I'm gonna tell you like this, hater. It ain't no question you can stick a mic in my face that I ain't had to answer for before. Like I know you gonna pull out 6 arms with 6 mics, then you can scare me, my friend.
No, I know you keep. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there's some words that gotta be kept quiet. But here we got to tell them how it is. Coach G Double, listen, he don't take no malarkey. I've been seeing the games for so long, ever since a kid, and I can't be taking no malarkey anymore either.
Everything you can do that. Don't put the past in the future together when the same person ain't driving the truck. Don't connect the past. See, you're talking like a scorned lover.
Every person who's been driving the truck has their license checked. So now.
I'm witnessing this again. Somebody might have bitten off more than they can chew in an argument with you. I got that.
Let's go.
No, listen. Okay, listen. Joe Whitt is there. Okay.
Yeah.
Your defensive mind. You play corner.
Yeah.
Everything's changing. Eric, Bieniemy, he's scratching his head right now. He's gone. We got a new movie. A whole new cast. What do you think is going to happen? All honesty.
First of all, it's not a movie because a movie is pre-scripted. All right. It's more of the first and the only reality show, the longest running reality show of all time. The one thing about playing in pro sports, you have to live in that glass bubble. Everything you do, everything you say will be seen, will be mocked. Understand that you have had the pleasure of sitting back and watching us come out there on Saturdays, but not seeing what we doing Monday through Friday through something. Like, at the end of the day, it's a process that's in here. And in the other old processes, maybe wasn't handled right, and maybe they was. But at the end of the day, I can say this. We went back and got one of the greatest coaches of all time. Like, if you ever want to try to cure a problem, sometime go back and try to reach in the past. We did that with Coach Gibbs and bringing in Coach Gregg Williams. So now we got a brainchild there. But guess what we never really had? We had stars everywhere. We had number 2 picks everywhere. We got Sean Taylor. We got him and LeVar walking the huddle beside each other. They look like twins. So at the end of the day, we got everything you need, but we ain't got the quarterback. Because when you get in the playoffs, if you get in the playoffs, if you ain't got a quarterback that can battle, you ain't got a chance. No way. We can only do so much on defense holding these guys. I have been in games with this coach right here where we went in with 70 yards at halftime, 50 yards at halftime we done gave up. We down 7-0. How is that possible? It happens, but we keep playing. So what I'm telling you is, no matter what the situation is, you got to keep playing. So everybody here got a clean slate right now.
Right. I do. They got a clean slate. I agree with you that you got to find the quarterback that can make the difference at the end of the season. Has got to be able to make the difference. I do think Dan and Joe Whitt, being with Dan, is going to redo some things. And I don't know how much you studied since Dan, he took his time off before he came back to Dallas after he left.
I've been studying. Yep.
Dan, all of a sudden, now will play some Tampa cover 2. Dan will all of a sudden play some cover 6. Dan will all of a sudden play some different things that he wasn't doing, which helps. Now, the one thing, in the playoffs that was not good at all when they got their ass kicked by Green Bay was he played in the little packages too much in the run game. And he wasn't big enough to play in the run game for whatever thing. And you can stay in those smaller packages when you have a lead, but you didn't have a lead. And I think Joe Whitt will do a good job with that. And I also think, with Kliff Kingsbury, but I'm going to tell you this too, Hatter and Fred, it's going to be a drop-off unless that right quarterback is there, because Kliff is a really good coach. I think the world of Eric, and he is demanding. He is, the way he goes about his meetings, the way you go about practice. Yeah. He's a hard-nosed disciplinarian that Kansas City didn't have earlier in the year, and they had to get out of some of those bad habits. And Patrick Mahomes has talked about that, okay, of how to go back over those type of things. Eric will be missed there. He will. But I do think that Dan can do a really good job. He's going to energize the building. He's going to energize the locker room. And I'm going to say the same thing you did. Go get your quarterback.
Oh, most definitely got to go get a quarterback. But some good points you brought up there right there, Coach. Now, here go the thing about it is, when you talk about Joe Whitt, at the end of the day, I went back, looked at the defenses because they give us our little iPad, so I got a chance to go back and really watch it. And what really shocking me, in London was sitting there talking, and the run blend. See, think about this. Don't think about the run blend. Yep. Think about the one thing I love about great coordinators. They don't leave footprints, they leave imprints. Meaning the pattern can be followed. So I went back, I watched the Trayvon Diggs year when he had all those picks, when he had that 10 picks. Then he tore up his knee, plug and play the run blend, and he breaks the records. So then I was like, all right, I started to watch the film, and they started to run coverage similar to we used to run with the gold package that we used to run when we going off the 2-to-1 reads, and we doing this and we jumping routes, and that's what they was doing. So I was like, so he went from that cover 3 match that he was doing in Seattle, and now he's doing these, like I say, the best coaches playing picks. And that's what I love playing for you, G-Dub, was I knew when I was going to take my shot. I knew inside of the game plan when I was going to take my shot because we hadn't studied it during the week. But I think with Joe Whitt, I think I'm going to start calling him John Wick by the 6th game, because one thing he is a DB's best friend, and he kills offenses by the pound. Do y'all know this? And this is a killer stat. I thought I was looking at some tomfoolery when I looked it up. In Green Bay, because he was there some years. He was there double-digit years. They literally had 150 plus interceptions. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I know.
In the last couple of years since they've been in the Cowboys, they led the league in interceptions. They've had 59 of them. All right. He knows how to dissect football. All right. But then y'all said the running game. Don't forget, Van Der Esch got hurt during the year. The other linebacker, they got hurt during the year. They almost was forced doing necessity. Reminds me, Coach, of when you had to play catfish at linebacker, knowing he was 125 pounds, but you had to do it not because you wanted to. You had to do it off of necessity. So I thought that's what happened when it came down the line. And you're right. They was built very similar to the Indianapolis Colts when they had Peyton Manning, when they had those rush-ins that get up the field. But if you ran at them, when you knocked down, you could neutralize them and you could beat them. The Cowboys was built to play with a lead. If you stymie them, you beat the Cowboys. I think he learned from that, being the defensive coordinator, sitting back watching everything.
And I think so too. And remember this, especially on your show with London, okay, is another way how you hide guys that you're playing behind the ball at the linebacker position that maybe aren't as good as the guys they had to replace. Remember, automatic front stunt. And so we had built-in stunts to trick the linemen so that those linebackers didn't have to engage those big linemen, okay? They engaged the ball carrier, okay? We stunted the ball where we wanted it to go. And you got to be able to have that ready to roll, because you got, you can't wait until you sign somebody new until next year to do it. You got to do the next play when a guy goes down in a game.
And they did a good job of doing that, and it's easy to do when you got a monster like Micah Parsons over there who's creating all this attention. So they did a lot of flooding this side, showing you something that's not there, running and looping it, and literally doing 4-man rushes and getting home because the line can't identify where the guy's coming from. So I enjoy watching that.
I agree.
No, you know what I'm gonna say, and Coach G-Dub knows what I'm gonna say, and Fred, you probably gonna know what I'm gonna say too. Look, Drawn Bland, amazing. We all knew before the game, what him breaking the record was going to be against us. Before the game came on, I was like, listen, give him the record. Write it down, bro. And that's what happened. But let's forget about that. This is not even the topic. The topic is, right, Dan plays amazing defense against the worst teams, okay? We all know. You can check the resume. When they played good teams, he did nothing. Now, he's coming to this defense where, obviously the players were, I would say a C- the last couple of years, right? And Dan's defense the last couple of years was not a C-. Now, Drawn Bland, look at the numbers that he played against top-notch receivers. Just look at the numbers. We're talking about 160, 180, 150 yards against him.
Hey, hold up, hater. What? Let me ask you something. What world do you live in? Do you live in Westeros? Do you live in the Game of Thrones? Because you can't possibly live in what we call reality. Because I wish I could come to your 9 to 5 and sit there and boo you when you ain't putting that lettuce on that burger, right? I wish I could come there and boo you when you ain't dropping that motor in that car, right? Because you ain't put what needs to be done in. So you telling me
you have to come on this show now, huh?
No. What I'm saying is you're gonna sit here and you're gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna sit here and point out all the worst things I can, and I'm not gonna point out no good. Like I could do that with every subject in the world. I could nitpick anything. It's no coach. We could have picked this cycle.
Fred, I know why you're being positive now with the DJ Khaled joint in the back. Now I know why you
listen.
You a believer.
It's the difference between me and you. See, I sleep with my hands in the air and they stay there. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference.
Babe, your hands don't go to sleep.
No,
your hands don't go to sleep.
That's what winners do.
Okay, but listen, Fred, I know what you're saying. You're trying to be a believer, but like you were saying, you said reality. Reality is the coaches came to this organization, our organization that we've been seeing for a long time. Mm-hmm. If they get 6 wins next year,
don't count wins, count progress.
Listen. Okay.
Don't count wins.
If they get
ain't what you always think they is.
If they get 6 wins next year, I got you any car you want, bro. Any car you want. And the thing is, this is recorded. You know what I mean,
you know
right?
What?
You know what I mean?
Here's something right now for all of us, is that, and I have done quite a bit of detailed studying on this. Their cap space is going to be very good next year. They're going to have cap space, and
80 million, 80.
I have tracked Adam Peters for a long time on how he goes out and evaluates, whether it be pro free agency, whether it be the college draft. I've watched all of that type of stuff, and there will be some new people come into the building, and then the other people that are there, the quality people that are there are going to ramp up a notch, and they'll ramp up a notch, and then watch how all of them look when you get a quarterback that can make a few first downs and put touchdowns on the board instead of punts and field goals.
And see, they got to think about it. They're not being situational. Like I said, Hater is so scorned with what it used to be and how things used to be done. We got the golden gem, and the golden gem was we got the best GM in the cycle. That's the person that buys the groceries. You know what? I don't judge a GM if they go up there and they find Joe Burrow at number 1. My grandmama could see that Joe Burrow was a franchise quarterback at LSU. Now, you can go find me a 5th rounder, a 6th rounder that become a franchise player for me. Now, that's when we cooking with fish grease. Identifying not just good players that fit my locker room and fit my culture. All right, so at the end of the day, you can't create a culture unless you start it from the top down. And in a new culture, I want you to say, Hater, repeat after me. Say the word new. New. Can you say that?
I did that just for you. Just for you, bro.
No. New ownership, new GM, new head coach, new culture. All right, new players. We only have 29 players under contract with $80 million of cap room. With the number 2 pick, we have a chance to get Caleb Williams, Drake Maye, Jalen Daniels. We got 2 second-round picks, 5 picks in the first 50 picks, man. Like, if you want to stamp a team,
I got you. I see what you're saying. But like you were saying, getting the groceries, we had so many chances to get the groceries. Okay. But the thing is, listen, I believe in Adam Peters. Don't get me wrong. I think he will make the right decisions. Finally. But I'm saying is the last 15 years, the groceries were the wrong
Adam
groceries.
Peters wasn't my GM 15 years ago. So you can't blame him for nothing.
I know. I'm not blaming him. I'm saying the past The groceries were wrong. When we had the money, when we signed the players, it didn't fit the system.
That has nothing to do with Adam Peters. That had nothing to do with Daniel Quinn. That had nothing to do with nobody. That has nothing to do with anybody that's in the building as of today. All right, as of today, nobody. The Harris Group, none of that. Magic Johnson don't know what you're talking about.
But that's what I'm saying. So as of today, look, last year, right? We had the new owner, all that, blah, blah, blah. Cool. We saw what happened. Okay.
They got there 5 days before the season started. What could they do? And you can't put an imprint on the team.
So guess what? I raised that, right? I'm saying is I'm moving this year to the new season I'm trying to be positive, right?
I can't tell. Is this you positive, hater? Is this positivity from you?
Listen, bro.
This positivity.
You gotta go, Fred. You gotta go out. You gotta talk to the million Redskins fans out there. You gotta ask them.
I talk to them all the time. I'm in communication with them by the masses.
Man, they're lying to you. Then they're lying to you.
Feel like
my grandson right here, and he is Blake's little boy, and he's going to be a bigger pain in the ass than Blake was.
And that's how we like him. Raise them right and raise them young.
Right. Just because of you, because you're in the facility, I'm going to trust you. All right? I'm going to trust you.
No, just trust me as a person. Don't trust me
I trust you as a person. But I'm saying is, listen, we do have cap space. We never had this much cap space ever, right? Adam's there, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, he will make the right decisions. But I'm saying is once again, Adam Peters wasn't there in the past. I understand that, right? It's a done deal. That's whatever happened in the past, happened in the past. I'm saying is people give us so much disrespect. Other teams, other stuff that, man, these boys can never get it right. And the thing is, I'm tired of hearing that. The thing is, we can get it right. Is some disconnection somewhere.
So that's what this is about. You know what? The great poet, Jay-Z once said, sensitive thugs need a hug. So you gonna sit here and tell me because of your fandom and Cowboy fans talking trash to you in Philadelphia?
Oh, yeah, man, I got all these Cowboys fans blocked on me, man. I don't gotta worry about no Cowboys fans.
So that's making you think that we're gonna forever be in misery. When you watch the cycle of football, when some teams have good 10-year goals and this one everybody takes their turn. Like it happens in sport. You need to get everything right for everything to happen. And we've only had that happen here one time, and that was Coach Gibbs 1.0 when they got it right 3 times. Other than that, it just haven't happened, man. Like, you know what? This is what I want you to do. I'm going to have a counselor meeting for you, haters. I'm going to have you sit down with a Browns fan. I'm going to have you sit down with a Detroit Lions fan. You know what they don't do? They don't nag. They show up every Sunday. You understand me? With pride. And they show up and they cheer for their team. And they say, you know what? We'll figure our in-house stuff out in-house together.
But we can't talk about no Browns or Lions. They playing nice. They are playing nice. Right, they're getting it right.
Yeah, I bet you they'll trade for those 3 rings. I bet you they'll trade for those 3 rings.
Okay, fine, cool. That's cool. Hey, listen, that's good. I'm not hating on that. I'm happy about those 3 rings, but we need another ring soon, is what I'm saying. And the thing is, but listen. Kliff is there. That's some good news, though. That's good news. Listen, when that happened, it's some good news. Coach G-Dub, I didn't hear your feedback on Kliff quite yet. But
have you had the opportunity to talk smack with Magic Johnson yet?
Yes, I have.
I want to see that.
I need to see a video of that.
The great part about it, you can check out it on the Command Center show that we do at the.
Well, I didn't see that one yet. I didn't see that.
Check it out. Check it out. It's a good show. And the great part about it, his dad is from Mississippi, so the Mississippi roots came out with him. So we were just chopping it up, talking some good old talk. And that's the good thing about it is that's what I'm trying to tell the hater is at the end of the day, the whole feel, the whole flow, everything is different around there. And I just told you we are working with what the military would call a clean slate protocol. We're working with you're changing your whole roster in a season. You got 29 people under contract. I mean, you got to get half of the roster either through the draft or even through free agent. That means you have to get guys in there, and you get to pick who you want. It ain't one of those things where you're scrapping for cash. You got to trade a player. You got to do this. You got luxury pick. Then you at number 2 with your pick of the litter. Even if you want to move up one and you feel like Caleb is the guy to go get, you can do that. Or you can stay with Drake Maye, who Drake Maye makes me want to say, are you going to pass on Justin Herbert twice? We passed on him once in the Chase Young draft. Are we going to pass on the same type of guy again with Drake Maye? People in love with Jaden Daniels. So at the end of the day, you have to feel good as a fan right now where the team is at. Everything is a new horizons, a new operation back to glory. That's what it is, man. You need to get on the train while there's room on this seat.
Dan Quinn is a very good person that way. Dan has done this before, and he'll do it a good job. And you got to recheck yourself mentally before the physical parts of it even come into it. And this is a clean slate, and you're going to see better cap space still because they're going to make some adjustments on the guys who are under contract to clear more space, and which is going to be good.
Fred, what do you think? What we really going to do at the number 2 pick this year?
You ain't got no choice. This is why you pick at number 1, 2, or 3, so you never have to do it again. All right, that's what you do. Hopefully you find somebody that can change the game for you for 10 to 15 years at the quarterback position. All right, everybody's not lucky like Green Bay is. And I call them sometimes the most overrated franchise of all time because they're about to be the only team with 40 plus years consecutively of Pro Bowl quarterbacking, and they got 2 championships to show for it. Hey, listen. I might as well go outside and sell shoe screens and try to be a billionaire. It won't happen. All I'm saying is this. Like, you got to look at things for what they really are. And we are in a good position. We are in a great position. The one thing you have to get right now is the draft is a crapshoot. Because for every time you find a Peyton Manning, somebody's going to find an Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson mother draft in the first round and nobody wants her. Somebody gonna find a Brock Purdy who gets the job done. Might not be your flavor. All I care about is getting the job done. So at the end of the day, finding and identifying that guy, but not just identifying, but nurturing. See, people like to just look at players when coaching has so much to do with it. And that's why I told you, it ain't really a lot of bad kids out here, just a lot of bad parents. So there go the thing about it is they just need to be loved on. Well, guess what? These draft picks have to be loved on. They have to be taught how to play the game. Come on. Look at this guy, G-Dub over here.
You're making my day. You're making my day, Fred. I love that.
I'm just saying, this guy literally got Sean Taylor in there and told him he can't start right now. Like, no, I'm just not going to let you start right now. Like, it's different guys. Some guys send guys out there and want them to run their vision. Some guys teach players how to play football and how to dominate without them even being around.
Which quarterback do you think fits the system?
Well, we're talking about a guy that runs, and then when everybody hear the air raid and they hear Kliff Kingsbury, I want you to know this. Go back and look up your facts since everybody like to PFF and do everything right now. All right. He actually run ratio was 51-49 his last 2 years at the Cardinals, and before that it was 60. It was right there where he runs the ball a lot more than you think. He just finds ways to find spaces and create spaces, much like the Shanahan big wonders for his quarterback to throw in. Well, if I look at his quarterbacks that he's coached, well, he did coach Pat Mahomes at Texas Tech, where Caleb Williams looks and feels and throws off schedule a lot like Patrick Mahomes. You're gonna have to teach him how to throw on schedule like Andy Reid had to do with Patrick Mahomes. Well, guess what? Drake Maye is another dude. All right, well, Drake Maye is a guy to me very much like Justin Herbert, different than some of the guys he had, but really works outside the pocket. This guy, he's had Kyler Murray. He has Baker Mayfield. He's had that quarterback after quarterback after quarterback. He understands, and if you're going to have a young quarterback, I need to have somebody that genuinely speaks the language of quarterback, all right, because you're going to have some ups and downs. And I can't have one coach trying to lead you this way and I'm trying to mold you and trying to get you to get to a certain point where you don't need me anymore. And that's what great coaches do. They raise you like parents, so you don't need them anymore after 18.
I agree. I do agree. And you got to do that. You're the mentor. And like I said, I've had the luxury of coaching over 2,500 NFL athletes in all the years I've done it, and over 1,000 of them text me and call me on Father's Day, so I must not be as big a prick as everybody says I am.
Well, listen, sometimes the pricks in your life is the one that sticks out. Don't nobody go shopping for no tulip. They go shopping for roses because they got pricks on them.
He says tulip, man. He brought that out the bag for that. He really brought that out the bag.
That's right. Right. That's results.
Hey. That's it. Result-based business, man. That's it.
Hey, man, listen, I'm hoping this year is going to be the amazing movie, the box office movie. Is what I'm gonna say.
Like I said, it's the longest running reality show, and you got to watch it unfold. But the one thing you're gonna have to be true to is yourself. Like the only time you can get your expectations shattered if you set them too high. Sometimes you need to sit back and enjoy the ride. That's the best way for things to be. Like, think about if you was a Texans fan last year, y'all just got your quarterback, you got a top 3 pick in Will Anderson. Their expectations were high. Them guys got to go out there, relax, and play some football, and the sky's was the limit. That's how quick things can happen in this league, man. So at the end of the day, once you get the right pieces together, and I hope they don't say that defensive coaches can't coach, because last time I checked, their head coach in Houston is a defensive head coach. You look at this coaching cycle, more head coaches from defense got hired than the offense. So at the end of the day, why wouldn't I hire a defensive coach? He spent all his time finding out how to stop offenses. Don't you know he can call offense too? So at the end of the day,
when I flipped the script here up at Cleveland, okay, I was a quarterback and an offensive coordinator too, but all of a sudden people didn't realize on how much I changed the offense. And I was telling at the midpoint of the year, Baker, at the midpoint of the year, had given up 38 sacks and 41 hits as a quarterback. I took 26 pass protection they had and shit canned them down to 6 pass protections. Baker goes, "What do I do? What do I do? What do I do?" And I grabbed him and I said, "What do you mean? What do you do?" "We can't block this. We can't block." I said, "I know. You know how you block it? Get it out of your hand.
Yes.
You have to throw hot. You can't bake a pizza back there." Listen up. The next 8 weeks, we only gave up 2 sacks and 7 hits on a quarterback and won games and turned the season around. He needed to be coached. He's one of my favorites. I've had a chance
to love Baker
too. Okay. And he had another great year again. Hey, it's about coaching and it's about playing together. And that has to be a synergy, just like you're talking about.
Well, the thing about Baker, I love, he an underdog. Like he can't flourish in the head dog thing. He has to be everybody is against me. When everybody is against, I call him Baker the touchdown maker. I like to go to his bakery all the time, like, because I like it because everything's been against this kid since the beginning. Come on, he was a walk-on in college, man. So that's why I pull for Baker all the time. So hope Tampa make that deal happen and keep him where he at, because he did play well this year.
Now, Fred, I want you to give me a quick prediction of the record next year. All right. So I gotta ask you. And
all right. I'm gonna give you. All right, then. I'm gonna make it even. Then. All right. I'll give you my predictions, but you have to break it down by 2 scenarios. All right. Well, these are the 2 scenarios we have when I do the rationale. We have the number 2 pick, so we got a chance to either move up and get the 1 pick, or we can stay and get number 2. You know what 2 quarterbacks that's gonna probably be. Tell me which one of the quarterbacks is. I'll tell you the scenario. Tell me the other one. I'll tell you another scenario.
Okay. So, the first scenario, I would say Drake.
Drake Maye. I like Drake Maye. I like Drake Maye. Now, like most North Carolina quarterbacks, his feet don't match his throwing motion, but that's fine. He can get that coached out of him. That's fine. But he is a big dude, and he can literally run. When I say very Justin Herbert, Josh Allen-like, knowing that we're going to play in these cold, windy cities. We're going to play in New York in the wintertime. We're going to have to go play those Green Bay games. I think he is a little bit raw than the rest of them. He needs to be loved on a little bit more. That's why you got a guy like the coach that we got in there. Don't forget, at North Carolina, he running the air raid system already. So he know the rules. He know the terminology. He know what they trying to accomplish. And that's to turn the short passing game into the run game. That's to find windows and find matchups. So he already knows that. Now, the thing is, can he play outside of himself in his own way when it comes to turnovers, especially as a rookie in this league? Now, what are we going to do to help him out? a guy by the name of Brian Robinson Jr., a DB's worst nightmare. All right, listen, he don't get a lot of props, but Brian Robinson is a damn good running back.
He is very good.
And if you ever want to protect a quarterback, you protect the quarterback with a run game. All right, so therefore, you got that, and you make sure you get him a tight end. But with his length, his height, he'll be able to make every throw. He can throw over the line. I think it'll be a good chance. He's the type guy that he can go out there and steal you, especially if you're playing good defense. If you're playing good defense, that's 4 games right there. I always get, like, if you play good defense, that's 4 games right there. Another running game will give you a game and a half, and if the quarterback can go win you another game and a half, you sitting at 7 games right there.
My heart saying, not only is he a smart player, he's a smart dude. He ought to be able to see if he can be a GM someplace. I don't know. All good players can smell BS a long ways off. They can tell where their coach doesn't know what he's doing. Another player, they can see fakes a long way off. And that's part of being in the huddle. You know, I want to be in the huddle with the players, not outside that. And you got to do that as a coach if you want them to understand inside the white lines, okay, this is how we do it.
And that's why people get that missing, because they forget about the human aspect of coaching. Like they always want to say, who is the genius with the pen and the paper? But they forget he still got to lead men. And if he can't lead men, he can't get the respect of those men.
And, you know, Fred, I can tell you exactly which coach cannot coach off of his script piece of paper, which coach, okay, is the worst in the world on getting the play in too late to the players, which coach can't match personnel on defense with personnel that they're playing on offense for matchups. I can tell you all of that. Well, guess what? So can the players that he's coaching understand that he's in over his head. You're exactly right.
Now, Fred, I forgot to ask you, what if it's
Caleb? All right, well, this is what Caleb come with. He come with adding to this new wow factor we got going on. Now you bringing the native son home who's went out to Hollywood and struck it rich as the #1 pick. He comes with the Patrick Mahomes wow factor. He going for everything you want to see him do. You really just waiting for the play to break down to see what magic he can make happen. So the one thing you want to do is reel him back in once you get him here and let him know he ain't got to put the game on his shoulders. You are the youngsters. Let some of these veterans like Payne and Allen guide you and protect you from yourself early on. And that's what you got to do as an offensive coordinator. You got to get him some weapons. I love the wide receiver Leggett out of South Carolina. Will we be able to get him with one of those early tools? Yeah. You never know. I love Jatavius Sanders out of Texas, the tight end. He can really get up that seam. See, that's what we need here. We need somebody that can get up the seam and challenge you as a tight end. A young quarterback best friend when it comes to throwing a tight end, a long range guy that forces the defense to have to match up with him. When the defense is forced to match up with the tight end and force you to play true man-to-man outside, if you're going to play zone, I can break you down with my slot wide receiver. Give Caleb options. Understand that you do got a Terry McLaurin here. You do got a Jahan Dotson that you really need to move in. What we need to really get here is a tall, rangy wide receiver. Maybe the guy Wilson from Florida State. He like 6'6". I need somebody that my quarterback can throw bad passes to and they can come down with them. The catch radius of tall guys are different than guys that go muscle you up like Debo. We already got those size guys. We need the unicorn over there that this guy can afford to throw fade routes to the side too. So what Caleb can bring to you is enough excitement that people only focus on him and forget about the other 52 guys, so they show up with that chip on their shoulder. All right, so it allows you, to me, to even win more games, because now we got that thing that says, come look at us, see what we're doing. So now people blow it up even more. So now it magnifies everything that must. So it put pressure on coaches. It put pressure on whatever left tackle you're going to try to go get in free agency. It puts pressure on the middle linebacker. Understand that I can't be the worst quarterback on this team because the middle linebacker is the quarterback of defense. So if I'm getting on the phone, first thing I'm doing in free agency, I'm getting on the phone trying to get players from that play in the playoffs. Like right now, we need linebacker help. I'm trying to get Pat McQueen. Why wouldn't I get on the phone with Pat McQueen? I wouldn't even let nobody else get on his phone. I'm trying to get guys that can run in space, guys that play with the intensity, guys that can give identity, not only just on the field, but off the field. So it's making sure that you don't put everything on Caleb. You make sure you got the pieces around him that can help him and make it easy for him so he can just relax and play football. And then you got a chance to win multiple games.
And you know what? I agree 100% with you. And here's one more thing, okay, is that now that Kliff Kingsbury is not the head coach and the play caller, there's so much going on to do all that field position and time management stuff and all that thing back and forth and injury substitutions and stuff. Kliff will be more focused on the things that you just talked about, Fred, with his quarterback. And Kliff is, because he played the position too, he will be much more encouraging, okay, to get through a mistake that you made and get on to the next play. He'll do a good job with that, and I think that'll be a good matchup.
And I always tell people you cannot try to fix every bandage on a team through the draft. Like most of you guys through the draft is really, some of these guys are for your future. They ain't going to be ready to play. But I tell you what, you know you're going to have to get one of these offensive linemen. Luckily, it's a very deep offensive lineman. For those two at Oregon State, he's a good one. But I'm telling you who I really got my eye on. And if you look at this guy, check his film out, G-Dub. He's Tyler Guyton. He's at nice. Oklahoma. He used to be a running back in high school. He's best athlete, offensive line, hand down.
And I've already started working on him, and I agree. He's a heck of an athlete, yes.
I was going to say, Fred, that 7 games is not bad. Obviously Sam Howell, I think he needs a little more chance with the right offensive lineman. If he has better protection, who knows what he can do? He can do better. I'm gonna be very, very bold. I'm gonna be very bold. If Marvin Harrison Jr. is up there, and if we get this guy, and we get some linemen like some of the guys you're speaking, Fred, build a whole line. I mean, come on now. I know you're a cornerback. I know you don't like wide receivers, but listen.
Hey man, listen. We talking about the number 2 pick, and if you watch Ron Odunze from Washington, he just as good. It's another Marvin Harrison in this draft, by the way. All right, Malik Neighbors from LSU. Have you seen him play? What about his running mate, Brian Thomas Jr.? Have you seen him play? All right, at the end of the day, I can get another one of those. All right, I got to get a quarterback. You can't do that. You can't do that ifs. Now, you know what? I wish Sam had a legit chance too, but sometime in this life, we only given the chance that we given, and hopefully in the future he given another chance. But right now, you have to take a chance to seize. I was just saying, what about the draft 4 years ago?
If you didn't take Chase Young, you take who else?
What if we didn't take Chase Young and we took Justin Herbert? Where's the franchise?
All right.
No, you're right. No, you're exactly right. You're exactly
and that's just because sometimes y'all looking at talent over who is a force multiplier. Like definitely. Sometimes talent ain't good enough. Who gonna make the rest of my team better? Well, a great quarterback is a force multiplier. Meaning my receivers don't need to be A1 receivers. They can be B receivers, and we can move the ball just as fine.
Listen to me. Through the competition, if we take another quarterback, don't think that he's going to have to ramp his game up too. He can't be afraid of competing. He'll get better. If the coaching's there for everybody else, it's there for him too. And then let him compete every single day and make sure the best one gets a chance to play the game. And the other players on the field will already, that he's practicing with and against, will have that sense of, hey, this guy should be playing. This guy should be playing. They'll see that and know right off the bat.
Super Bowl's a couple of days away. We need everyone's pick in who you think is going to win and what could be the one key factor of that win.
I can't pick against Andy Reid and Kansas City. I was born and raised in Kansas City, and here's the deal. They're going to have to be able to stop the run because Kyle Shanahan does a great job, and you know this, Fred, on how teams that don't set the force in the run game, okay, and all the cutback lanes that you have in that outside zone, outside stretch, plus he's got the gap schemes going there too. Spagnuolo has to stop the run, okay, and he stops the run and puts the ball in Brock's hands, and he's going to have to manage the game like that. That quarterback, hey, Kansas City, I've said this on my show the other day on Come Get Some, Kansas City 28-24. That's what I picked.
Well, you know the thing about that zone scheme and getting them faster linemen out there, the one thing you cannot do is trade 1-for-1. You can't trade 1-for-1 on there. When I used to have diabolical ways of stopping it by starting the pile. I would do all kinds of stuff. You know, one play I was just kicking my legs up like that, G-Dub, trying to make all my fall. So by any means necessary. But when I look at this game, I'm gonna tell you, first of all, it's gonna be sit back and enjoy the ride. It's gonna be a hell of a game. All right.
Yep.
But like Coach said, now I can say this about Kansas City. The only thing overrated about Kansas City right now is the barbecue. Other than that, it's head coach in this game. All right, by far the best quarterback in this game. The best defensive player in this game is Chris Jones. I understand that Chris Jones, Mississippi State Bulldog, is the best defensive player in this game. You talking about some players that have been there, done that. And I always told people, if he can do it with this group of wide receivers, and he can do it when he has to tone down his own game, they can win anywhere, anytime. They've been road tested. They are the hot team. Could you believe this? A Patrick Mahomes Super Bowl team is the underdog. I repeat that. A Patrick Mahomes Super Bowl team is an underdog to Brock Purdy. Now, I know they have the guys out there on the edge, but I'm telling you now, Spagnuolo got this defense playing bar one. Two best corners in this game, I'm telling you, right now belong to the Kansas City Chiefs. The way they getting up and pressing, the things they doing, Willie Gay running around now, I have to go with Kansas City 20-17. Field goal by Buckner, the number 2 kicker in the league. San Francisco don't trust their kicker. Special teams will decide this game. I'm going with the better kicker. I'm going with Buckner, not the guy that nobody in San Francisco believes in.
I think, the 49ers, I mean, I think they might just win it by just a little bit. I hope my guy Trent at least gets a ring, man. That boy, it's due for him. But if, Christian McCaffrey, I mean, if Kansas City finds a way to contain and stop Christian McCaffrey, the whole ball game just could be different. Now, if he comes out off the game, just going through and just running like he always does and finding those gaps, it just might be one of those long games. You know how they're going to do, start wasting time. It's going to be a clock game. So I think they might just get it just by a couple points and could just be by a field goal.
It's going to be a field goal game.
You know what? You made my day, except for Kansas City has great barbecue. My little hometown has a great barbecue place, and I'm going to get some Wabash barbecue sauce and send to you, and you have to reply whether it's any good or not.
I will do that, and in return, let me know when. I'm going to have some E&L sent from the city of Jackson, Mississippi, rib tips and links sent to you, and we're going to trade and barter, and we're going to see who has the best barbecue. First of all, anytime it comes to cow, chicken, ain't no fresher than Mississippi. All right? Ain't no fresher than Mississippi.
I'm not going to argue with you. It's great there, too. This has been great tonight, fellas. I appreciate you so much. And Fred, I can't tell you how much you brought a smile to my face. And, my wife and my kids all, you know what? I need to smile more. Maybe maybe I'm just not around you enough, okay? Because you made me smile a lot tonight.
I used to see your face just cracking as the smile went up just a little bit.
Definitely. It was a great show, guys. Me and Coach G-Dub next week was on with the surprise coach that he worked with his past years. But everyone have a great Super Bowl week. Enjoy. See you next week.
Anytime, fellas, man. I enjoy it.